my noble friend Lord Haney has reminded us of the searing experience of the Rwanda genocide and also the failure of the international community to act in time. The tribute he paid to the noble Baroness for the recent honour she received was well made. She was made one of 16 members of the Order of the Thistle, and I noted that their motto is Nemo me impune lacessit, no one harms me with impunity. Those words sum up the motives, I think, that lie behind this bill as it seeks to end the culture of impunity and the lethal harm caused by genocide. In parenthesis, can I also thank the noble Lord Polak for reminding us of the late Lord Sachs. I was privileged once to chair a lecture which he gave in Liverpool, and during the course of it he said, no one should ask where was God at Auschwitz. They should ask where was man. It's what women can do to prevent these atrocities from occurring. And the noble Lord Polak, who comes from Liverpool, cited the experience of Esther at the time of Purim. She's one of the great figures, I think, in the Bible. And she is told, you have come into this world for such a time as this. And it reminds us that sometimes unlikely people who have no great power but can do extraordinary things. And I think each of us who do have the privileges to serve in this place, we have the chance to do extraordinary things and to be a sign of contradiction. That word genocide, as the noble Lord has just said, should really not be used as a slogan or devalued. It's different from war crimes. It's different from crimes against humanity. But the duty to prevent genocide is one of the most neglected duties under international law. In 2022, with Dr. Evelina Ohab, who's been mentioned in the debate, I published state responses to crimes of genocide, which the Minister has a copy of. And although I know he welcomes the establishment of the hub on atrocity crimes, progress, as I'm sure he would agree, is slow, and we're still a long way from implementing our obligations set out in Raphael Lemkin's 1948 Convention on the Crime of Genocide. Now, on other occasions, I've spoken about the Rohingya, the Yazidis, Armenia, Nigeria, and the Uyghurs. Today, in my brief few minutes, I want to focus on three particular cases which underline why a bill of this kind is needed: Tigray, Hazara, and Darfur. In September 2023, the APPG on International Law, Justice and Accountability published its Tigray report. Our inquiry received an unprecedented amount of data, including testimonies from victims and witnesses from Tigray. We found evidence of atrocities, including mass killings, sexual violence and starvation, and which continue, my lords, to this day, and for which no one has been brought to justice. On numerous occasions, I brought the dire situation of the Tigrayans to the attention of the government. There are over 100 references in Hansard, letters and emails to the FCDO, and I asked for a JAX, that is a Joint Assessment on Conflict and Stability Assessment. Close to 2 years after the beginning of the war in Tigray, the government finally commissioned a JAX for Ethiopia, but it's refused to make it available to Parliament. Now, why on earth are parliamentarians denied the right to see information which is crucial to our duty to prevent genocide? Or take Afghanistan's Hazara, which in 2021 was referred to in our own Defence and International Relations Committee report on Afghanistan. Later that year, I was approached by Hazara human rights defenders concerned about lethal targeting of their community. With colleagues, I established the Hazara inquiry. Our report, launched here by the noble Baroness and myself, found that Hazara, as a religious and ethnic minority, are at serious risk of genocide at the hands of the Taliban and Islamic State Khorasan province. Under the Genocide Convention and customary international law, this finding should have engaged the responsibility to prevent. My lords, it did not, and the return to power of the Taliban has included brutal acts of violence against the Hazara and a return of terror, including bombings of Hazara schools, places of worship and other centres, atrocities which continued throughout 2023 and now into 2024. On December the 18th, 2023, in an oral intervention, I asked whether a JAX report could be initiated, not least because Pakistan had begun mass deportations back to Afghanistan. I have never had a reply. And finally, my lords, let me mention Darfur, which I visited during the genocide 20 years ago. 18 months ago, people on the ground warned that a new genocide was likely. In response, from the FCDO, all I've received have been statements about deadlines in relation to transitional justice being met and that progress was being made. Dissatisfied with those assurances, the APPG on Sudan and South Sudan decided to establish the Darfur inquiry, which I chaired, and we collected evidence from victims, survivors and experts. In 2023, as the situation in Khartoum deteriorated, we published our Darfur report, warning about the very clear early warning signs of atrocities to come and the danger of yet another genocide. These warnings were not listened to, they weren't acted upon. The catastrophic situation in Sudan has led to 9 million displaced people and thousands dead and now impending famine. And in Darfur, the RSF had continued the genocide begun by the Janjaweed. And who is being brought to justice or held to account? My lords, let me end. The work of monitoring early warning signs can't be left to parliamentarians and ad hoc inquiries. That is why this bill is necessary. The FCDO has the capacity and the resources needed to do that work well. And we have a minister in Lord Ahmed who understands that and works hard on these issues. Prevention of genocide and atrocity crimes is a duty which the Noble Baroness's bill might ensure is treated with the gravity and urgency which it deserves, and I support it.